Welcome to this latest edition of Audit Insights from the Australian National Audit Office. For this edition, we're looking mainly at ANAO performance audit reports tabled in the Parliament of Australia during the third quarter of the 2017-18 financial year. That's January, February and March 2018. Today I'm talking with Lisa Rauder, Group Executive Director Performance Audit at the ANAO, about the focus on the key learning that value for money can be significantly enhanced through ensuring that officials engaged in a procurement have a full understanding of what is being purchased and for what outcome, and also of the market they're operating in. Hi Lisa, and thanks for joining me today. I'll start by asking, how significant is Australian government procurement activity?
Procurement within the Australian government sector is worth around $50 billion each year. The Commonwealth Procurement Rules, or CPRs, outline that when a business need arises, officials should consider whether the procurement will deliver best value for money and the basis for this assessment. Value for money is driven through competition, and competition is a key element of the Australian Government's procurement framework.
So how can people working in the Australian government sector achieve significant value from procurement activities they're involved in?
Significant value can be generated from having an understanding of the market, the industry providing the goods or services, and the product being purchased. Of course, the opposite is also true. A lack of product or service knowledge or industry engagement can lead to a failure to generate significant value for money for the taxpayer. Our audit of Defence's management of material sustainment found that the Department of Defence had been considering the concept of being a smart buyer for many years. In the report, we stated that operating as a smart buyer is an essential function for an organisation seeking to outsource work. To be a smart buyer requires the capacity and technical knowledge to articulate an organisation's requirements and recognise independently of the vendor whether the vendor is meeting those requirements.
So that sounds like it's very important to understand the market.
Understanding the market, the options available, and the ability of the market to satisfy the procurement need over the product or service life cycle is necessary to ensure that value for taxpayers' money is maximised. As an example, our audit of Defence's procurement of fuels and lubricants found that Defence had designed and implemented an effective competitive tender process, which was informed by a detailed understanding of both the business need and how best to articulate this need to the market in tender documentation and in assessment of responses, including through the use of specialist expertise. However, Defence did not fully capitalise on its understanding of the market, as it did not develop a negotiation strategy to maximise value for money.
So what does an informed government buyer look like?
An informed government buyer understands the supply market conditions, characteristics, capacity and capability for a planned procurement, including the types of services and products available, industry pricing structures, and any future changes in the industry that could be reasonably anticipated. For example, our audit of the Australian Electoral Commission's procurement of services for the 2016 federal election found that insufficient emphasis was given to open and effective competition as a means of demonstrably achieving value for money. Specialist expertise was not utilised, and therefore knowledge of the industry and the potential options available were not sufficiently considered. Another example is our audit of the management of the contract for telephone universal service obligations, which highlighted issues around there being no proper consideration of known or foreseeable changes in market demand. The contract for the service did not reflect the demonstrated decline in demand for standard telephone and payphone services over the relevant period of the contract.
Okay, thanks for that, Lisa. For more information about the material covered in this edition of Audit Insights, please visit anao.gov.au/insights.